Hello, my name is Britton Matney, and for my cultural immersion video I went and studied the gay community. And also I have a dog, so if she barks during this video I'm very sorry, but hopefully that won't happen. Anyways, for my culture immersion experience I went to a drag show, which I'm not exactly sure if that's school appropriate. But the person that I did my interview on said that that was a really common type of thing to go to, but it was kind of a big deal for me because I'd never even really been to a bar or anything like that. So it was really interesting. And then I live in a really backwards type of southern rural area. It's a very small town, and homosexuality is still really frowned upon here. So it was still kind of a really big deal. I'd never seen two guys even hold hands before. So it really plunged me into it. Now, I didn't feel judgmental or anything, but it was at first you were just oh my gosh, they shouldn't be doing that in public, because you just worry. Because if that happened where I live, they would probably end up with a fight with somebody. But then you just kind of realize where you are and that it's okay. But that was a really interesting experience, seeing the drag queens and stuff. It was pretty fun. And then the person that I did my interview on, he was really great. He gave me a lot of information. Hold on, I'm just going to look at my computer because I'm terrible at remembering stuff on the spot. He said the importance of the gay culture to him depends on a lot of things. And one thing he said was, he referred to it as a community, not really a culture. He's that would be saying the straight culture, that it's just, the people are so diverse that you really can't put them into one certain group or classification. But he said that what would be important to him is that it's just people living their lives, and that they just want to be accepted and just live like anybody else does. And an important thing to him was he would want younger people in the community to know the struggles that gays have been through, just within the past 15 years, how far that they've come. And one example would be how gay people were portrayed in the media 15 years ago. If you saw them, it would be in a negative way, or it would just be really stereotyped type of thing. And then another thing was he wouldn't use pride as the word, because one of the questions I asked, was what would be the meaning of pride to you for being a part of this community. And he said that he would just say that it's helped him realize how strong of a person that he is, because when he was coming out, he had to do a lot of introspection, so he really feels he knows himself really well. And so that would be his sense of pride, that he really is a strong person because of it. And some negatives about the culture, which I thought this was crazy, and it's so true, because I've heard people say it and it's so unfair, but everyone assumes that any gay person has AIDS, and that was one of his big things, or that they were a child molester, which I thought was crazy. But he says he's been really lucky that a lot of people haven't really given him a hard time about it. And the only real issue that he was talking about was the whole recent Chick-fil-A thing. He says that he probably won't eat at Chick-fil-A anymore. And then the membership of this group hasn't affected his social life at all, hasn't affected his work at all, or his housing at all. But he says in this area where we live, he does kind of watch how he dresses and how he acts and just what he says, just a little bit more cautious, because I said, it's still a really, we have come a very long way, but it's still just really, you have to be careful, which it's sad. And politically, he said he is way more politically active, and he thinks that too many gay people are silent, and that they really need to stand up for their rights, especially about equality with marriage, because they deserve it just as much as anybody else does, which I completely agree. I mean, they're going to live with somebody, if they're going to be in a committed relationship and they want to get married, why shouldn't they? It's really not fair. And one thing he would like human service professionals to know is he would like people to know that it's not a choice, that you can't cure someone for being gay. It's not an option. It's not something that you can reprogram them for. And he would want more human service professionals just to help younger homosexuals just with becoming more comfortable in their own skin. Just to know that it's okay to be that way. And let's see. One thing that I learned with my research, which he gave me a lot of really good websites to go and check out, and one stereotype that was really kind of abolished with all this, which I didn't really have it, but it is a really common stereotype, is you know, you can't be gay and be Christian at the same time. That's a really huge stereotype, but that's really not true. There's this website, www.gaychristian.net, and it's for gay Christians, and I think that's really good. That's a huge problem that I have with church, but we won't get into that right now. Let's see, factors to keep in mind when counseling this person, just to be open-minded, but to treat them just like you would treat anybody else, and not to let their sexual orientation change how you treat them. Every person deserves to be treated the same. And knowledge that I have gained through this interaction, I would just say I learned so much through this project, just through my reading and everything, and just through the interview. I don't know, I guess I never really thought about how unfair it was before, especially here. I couldn't imagine having to hide who I was, and it just is a really difficult struggle for people. And going to Newbies, which was where we went for the drag show, going there was just a really intense experience for me, because I realized how different it is when you go out of such a small town. And I'm not saying that it's not still bad in other places, but I think that my hometown could definitely use, they could use a cultural immersion, the whole town. But anyways, this was my personal blog about this, and I hope everybody likes it, and have a great day.